Unit 3 Objectives. At the end of this unit, you should be able to identify the components of an egg, determine the desirable qualities of an egg, handle and store fresh eggs properly, and prepare eggs using various cooking methods. Our lesson is about Introduction to Egg Dishes, which will cover composition of eggs, quality grades of eggs, and egg sizes and classification. Let's start with the structure of an egg. Eggs are one of the most nutritious and versatile food in the kitchen and are served on their own, used as an ingredient in many dishes starting from soup to desserts. It provides texture, structure, flavor, and moisture as well as nutrition. Eggs can be brown or white. Color has no effect on quality or flavor but depends on the breed of the hen. Now let's learn about the different parts of the egg. First is the eggshell. It is the outer hard covering of the egg and is made up of calcium, magnesium carbonate, and calcium phosphate. The shell gives shapes to the egg and holds the inner contents. The shell contains thousands of pores that allows carbon dioxide and moisture to escape as well as air to enter. The shell is covered by a cuticle membrane or bloom and should not be washed. The bloom acts as protective covering, blocking the pores and prevents moisture loss and bacterial contamination. When eggs are washed before going to the market, the cuticle is removed. To protect the egg, the washed egg are coated with a thin film of edible oil. The color of the shell has no effect on the quality, cooking properties, or nutritive value of the egg. The color of the shell is normally determined by the breed of the chicken. Next is the inner and outer membrane. These membranes act as a protective layer in case the shell cracks. Besides serving a packaging role, the shell and the shell membranes have a biological function, namely to regulate evaporation and air circulation, but also to prevent penetration of the microorganisms. The outer membrane is a translucent, film-like gel that nestles immediately next to the eggshell. As a freshly laid egg cools, the inner and outer membranes separate and form respective layers of their own. It's this cooling process that triggers the development of eggs' much-needed air cell that rest at the end of the outer membrane. Outer membranes encourage the porous activities of eggs. They operate as a bacterial barrier and air molecule terminal with oxygen, nitrogen, carbon dioxide, and other gaseous particles coming and going like big traffic. Likewise, inner membranes are the second translucent protein barrier tucked right after the outer membrane. While the outer membrane adheres to the eggshell, the inner membrane surrounds the albumen, more colloquially known as the egg white. The inner membrane gives one-two punch to the bacterial and gas sorting capabilities of the egg. It is one of the many components of the egg that works in harmony with the protein and compounds around it to create a secure and nutrient-dense egg filling. It is also proven to be the strongest of eggs' protective layers, with the inner membranes the most effective bacterial blocker among its trio of eggshells and outer membranes. The egg white represents approximately 60% of the weight of the egg and consists of 88% of water and 12% dry matter, primarily protein. The white is divided into three parts, an inner and outer liquid layer, and in between those a liquid layer with a thicker consistency. So basically, we have the outer thin albumin, the middle thick albumin, and the inner thin albumin. The white prevents external bacteria from penetrating the yolk. The white is clear and soluble when raw and white and firm when coagulated. Albumin in the egg white is valued by the chefs for its ability to hold air when beaten. The Vitalen membrane is made up of two layers, so small they are measured in micrometers and hardly perceivable to the human eye. Vitalen membrane's inner layer is thicker coating the surface of the yolk in parallel strings of 1 to 3.5 micrometer thick casings. The outer layer of the Vitale membrane is thinner and more delicate of the two, averaging measurements around 0.3 to 0.5 micrometer for its individual sublayer. Next is the egg yolk. The yolk has much lower water content than the egg white, just under 50%. The yolk represents about 28% of the weight of the egg and consists of approximately 2/3 fat and 1/3 protein. The fat content consists primarily of triglycerides, cholesterol, and phospholipid lecithin. The amount of fat and cholesterol and the composition of the fat is influenced by the diet of the hen. The yolk is held in place by two screw-shaped egg white strands, which is the chalazae. Blastoderm, or the germinal disc, is a small circular white spot about 2 to 3 mm across on the surface of the yolk. It is where the sperm enters the egg. The nucleus of the egg is in the blastodisc. The embryo develops from the disc and gradually sends blood vessels into the yolk to use it for nutrition as the embryo develops. The egg is kept in position at the center of the egg with the help of the chalazae. These are two twisted strands of mucin fibers, which is a very special form of protein, in opposite directions. The more prominent the chalazae, the fresher the egg. This cord-like structure may have to be strained while making castings. The very function of the chalazae is to really hold the yolk in place. In baking, the chalazae are sometimes removed in order to ensure a uniform texture. And lastly, the air cell. An air space forms when the content of the egg cool and contract after the egg is laid. The air cell usually rests between the outer and inner membranes at the egg's larger end. As the egg ages, moisture and carbon dioxide leave through the pores of the shell. Air enters to replace them, and the air cell becomes larger. Without its natural cooling down and gas-releasing period, air cells can't form, and if air cell growth remains stunted, eggs would never bear any chickens, as without these oxygen pockets, fertilized embryos cannot mature. Naturally, air cells assist in maintaining proper internal conditions for the egg whether fertilized or not. The vibrant chemical interactions that take place between the air cell gases and the rest of egg's fluids and proteins rely on oxygen transfers for their stability and quality. Now let's talk about the components of egg. Including eggs in your breakfast gives you a great start. Eggs are healthy and contain almost all the nutrients the body needs to perform throughout the day. One of the most important nutrients in the egg is protein. Eggs contain a large amount of high-quality protein, about 12.5 grams protein per 100 grams. This means that the body can utilize almost all the protein in the egg. Aside from protein, eggs are also packed with a ton of nutrients that provide important health benefits. Most of the nutrients in eggs are found in the yolk, so be sure to eat the whole egg. Nutrients found in eggs include iron that carries oxygen to the cell and helps prevent anemia, vitamin A that helps maintain healthy skin and eye tissue and assist in night vision, vitamin D that strengthens bones and teeth and may help protect against certain cancer and autoimmune diseases. Vitamin E, an antioxidant that plays a role in maintaining good health and preventing disease. Vitamin B12 that helps to keep the body's nerve and blood cells healthy and protects against a type of anemia. Folate that helps produce and maintain new cells, helps prevent a type of anemia, and helps protect against serious birth defects if taken prior to pregnancy and during the first 3 months of pregnancy. Selenium works well with vitamin E to act as an antioxidant to help prevent the breakdown of body tissues. Lutein and zeaxanthin that maintains good vision may help reduce the risk of age-related eye diseases such as cataracts and macular degeneration. and choline that plays a strong role in brain development and function. The nutritional value of eggs varies with their size. It is not an important factor in judging their quality. Larger the eggs, of course, have more food value than small ones. A single large egg provides 6.5 grams of protein, or about 13% of the recommended daily intake for adults, as well as 80% calories and a good amount of iron, phosphorus, thiamine, and vitamins like A, D, E, and K. The disadvantage of the egg as a staple diet is their high cholesterol content. It is important to recognize that there has been considerable information that the hen's diet can impact the composition of the egg. Before we proceed to egg quality, let us define first the term quality. Quality has been defined by Kramer 1951 as the properties of any given food that have an influence on the acceptance or rejection of this food by the consumer. Egg quality, on the other hand, is a general term which refers to several standards which define both internal and external quality. External quality is focused on shell cleanliness, texture, and shape, whereas internal quality refers to egg white cleanliness and viscosity, size of the air cell, yolk shape, and yolk strength. As mentioned earlier, egg quality has two general components, the interior quality and the exterior quality. The interior egg quality involves functional, aesthetic, and microbiological properties of the egg yolk and albumen. The proportions of components for fresh egg are 32% yolk, 58% albumen, and 10% shell according to Leeson 2006. The exterior egg quality, on the other hand, is judged on the basis of texture, color, shape, soundness, and cleanliness according to USDA standards. The shell of each egg should be smooth, clean, and free of cracks. The egg should be uniform in color, size, and shape. The egg is a versatile food with many options available for today's consumers. Shell eggs are the raw eggs that are available in retail stores, which include conventional, cage-free, free-range, organic, and rich or enriched type of egg. Raw shell eggs sold in grocery stores or to the food service industry are carefully washed and sanitized before being graded, packaged, refrigerated, and transported to stores. Grading of eggs is a voluntary program run by the Department of Agriculture that checks for both interior and exterior egg quality. Eggs of any quality grade may differ in weight or size. Some tests like sniff test, visual inspection, floating test, candling are done to check whether eggs are of good quality or not. And candling is the most used industrial method. To give you more idea on how the eggs are graded, let's watch this video. options are A, B, C, and D. A is the highest egg quality and D is the lowest. Now, in terms of egg size, size does not refer to the dimension of an egg or how big it looks, but tells you the minimum required net weight per dozen eggs. While some eggs in the carton may look slightly larger or smaller than the rest, it is the total weight of the dozen eggs that put them in one of the following classes. We have jumbo, extra large, large, medium, small, and PB. The table shows the minimum weight of dozen eggs in grams and average weight per egg in grams. Even though your carton of eggs appears uniform in shape and size, don't make the mistake of thinking chickens naturally produce eggs of mostly the same size. In fact, the eggs you find in the grocery stores and markets are sorted by grade and weight at the processing facility and packaged in groups of similar sizes before they are shipped out to be sold. This gives an illusion of uniformity in terms of size. Take note as well that when it comes to egg sizes, native chickens have much smaller eggs than commercial breeds, and some commercial breeds have bigger eggs than the others. And of the same breed, new layers tend to have smaller eggs compared to the older hens. In addition, pullets that are significantly underweight at sexual maturity will also produce small eggs, and better fed hens lay larger eggs than underfed ones. The environmental factors that lead to smaller eggs are heat, stress, and overcrowding. That would be all for our lesson about Introduction to Egg Dishes. You may scan the following QR code to read more information.